Oh boy. Ladies and gentlemen, Xbox did another oopsie. What's going on, everybody? Cryptix. We're just going to jump right into this one, man. Just don't forget to drop a like. Let's aim for something small. Let's aim for 100 likes on this vid. And if you are new to the channel, hit that sub button. But yeah, let's talk about Xbox's huge mistake that they had yesterday, or that they said yesterday. Essentially, Xbox and PlayStation and the PC quote-unquote master race have been in this video game war for over a decade now. And this isn't the video for it, but I will say there's pros and cons of each console, right? Like, the PC master race, those PC gamers, they have to spend upwards of close to $1,000, maybe even more than that, to enjoy their, video games. And honestly, I do have a PC that can actually crank out videos and also play some pretty high-end games at ultra graphics. And I'm not trying to flex here. All I'm saying is my point of view. If I were to upgrade the graphics card even more, I think I would exclusively play on PC. That's just my thoughts. It's just a little bit smoother than the consoles, and the graphics are just that much better. That's just my personal opinion. But in terms of the console wars, right? Xbox had their run back in the Xbox 360 days. They always made sure that you had to pay a subscription regardless for Xbox Gold, and basically they just had like a very popular streak of dominating the console, race because of specifically Halo. That's why everyone really got an Xbox 360 and also an Xbox One. Now, back in the PS3 to PS4 days, PlayStation didn't require you to actually have any type of subscription service to play online. Back in the PS3, you didn't need that. Now, PS4, when that came around, they finally made sure that people had to pay a subscription service, but a lot of people moved to Sony's PlayStation when, you didn't have to pay for a subscription service. Now, PlayStation 4, that's when I think they really started to dominate the console race, because there were a lot more exclusive games that were just a lot more fun. Spider-Man, for example, Uncharted. There's just so many games on PlayStation that are just destroying Xbox in comparison to exclusive games, the exclusivity deals that they have, right? Well, the Xbox Series S and X and the PlayStation 5, there's a lot of people just saying PlayStation 5 is simply better. And that's for a variety of different reasons. I personally think people got the PlayStation over the Xbox this time around, at least if you were lucky enough to get it, because of the exclusive games. Because everything else was basically at a standstill. The Xbox and PlayStation 5, in terms of performance, are relatively the same. Yeah, there's going to be some nerd in the comments saying, oh, Xbox has got 12 teraflops, whatever the hell that means. But, in terms of people's decision this time around, I think it had to do with the exclusivity deals associated with, Sony versus Microsoft. And a lot of people are choosing Sony because of Spider-Man. They're choosing Sony because of just a variety of other exclusive games. And Xbox's Halo, IP just isn't as popular anymore, right? So a lot of people also realized that subscription services were actually the same up until yesterday, and we will get into that. So a lot of people were just saying everything else is basically like a stalemate. Like, nothing else really was superior in terms of either console, and nothing was really cheaper in terms of either console, unless you got the Series S, which I believe is like $200 cheaper, but it's also a very poor performing console. I actually had one and sold it real quick. But yeah, it just wasn't a feasible console to actually play next-gen games on. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Xbox came out with an announcement yesterday via Xbox support, and I'm not going to actually show up the Xbox support tweet because it was very confusing and they did that on purpose. I'm going to just show Charlie Intel in their tweet. Basically, Xbox Gold membership was going to double yesterday. It was going to go from $60 for a year to $120 for 1 year. That's double the PlayStation membership for playing online. And on top of that, if you want to play any free-to-play game, Warzone, Fortnite, etc., you actually have to have Gold membership in order to download those free-to-play games, right? So Xbox basically wanted to, make people spend double of what they were paying for already. Not to mention, Sony was going to be, I guess, in comparison, half the price in terms of gold membership or online membership. So a lot of people were saying, that's it. I'm going to just, run with Sony. I'm going to run with PlayStation. Screw Microsoft for making me try to pay double and stuff like that. And a really good point before I forget, before moving forward with this whole story, is that membership for Xbox, if it went through and if they stuck by their word with $120 per month, or not per month, a year, gosh, not a month, oh my gosh, a year, you could actually do the math and think, well, a next-gen console, or I guess like any generation console, lasts about 6 or 7 years. You're going to spend close to $1,000 on just the online membership for Xbox. Meanwhile, you could basically build a PC with that amount of money over the course of 6 or 7 years for the Xbox Gold membership. You could just simply use that money to allocate towards a graphics card, a chip, a motherboard, all that fun stuff, and you could have a great gaming PC. So a lot of people were just like, I'm not, gonna, buy an Xbox. I'll just simply build my own PC if it's gonna be $120 per month. And that's just something that I wanted to bring up because a lot of people were saying, that's ridiculous. I'm going to go get a PlayStation 5. Meanwhile, you could actually build your own PC instead of getting either console for that amount of money, for spending $500 on the Xbox Series X and then spending close to $1,000 on the gold membership over the course of 6 or 7 years. Now, Microsoft specifically did this because they knew the $120 price hike was going to incentivize people to actually buy the Xbox Game Pass. Now, the Xbox Game Pass alone, I will give Xbox credit here. It's a great deal for, I guess, like the first 3 months it's $1 and then it becomes like $15 per month or something like that. But you get over 100 games. There's actually some pretty good and fun games on there as well. But at the end of the day, they specifically made the price hike $120 for Xbox Gold membership for a year, because if you spent the additional, I think it would be like a package deal. I think if you spend an additional like $5 or something like that, you actually get Game Pass included. So it went from $60 to $125 or $130 for, their, I guess, incentivized package that, Microsoft was going for here. After the backlash, a lot of people are just sick and tired of it. Everyone was like, I'm going to PlayStation. I'm selling my Xbox if it's actually going to be increasing in price. And yeah, man, like it was a mess yesterday. Like Xbox and Microsoft, they definitely screwed up. And then they came out with a tweet basically saying, at the end of the day, today was not great. We always try to do our best for you, and today we missed the mark. We hear you, and we're going to reverse the Xbox Live Gold pricing updates. So they're basically going back on their word. They're reversing the price hike, and that's for a variety of different reasons, right? Like if Microsoft actually did this, they realized that they probably would actually lose in terms of the console wars, in terms of the consoles being sold versus, Sony and their PlayStation 5. People would have just got the PlayStation 5 and not even gotten the Xbox, which means Xbox's profit margin, even though they have a high subscription premium, they weren't going to sell as many consoles, which is definitely going to hurt Xbox's wallet, right? So at the end of it all, like Xbox, they definitely screwed up here. And I'm just kind of like, I have my PC, I have a PlayStation 5, I don't have an Xbox, and I was an Xbox person for like a decade. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I was legitimately on Xbox for like probably around 11 years, no lie. And at the end of it all, like, the exclusive games are just lacking. Microsoft's a publicly traded company like Sony, but Microsoft also wants to just increase their profits that much more. And today, or I guess yesterday, was evident of that price hike. And it just kind of leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth, because at the end of the day, like Xbox, they're trying to basically incentivize you to buy a ridiculous premium to get Xbox Game Pass. And it just simply shouldn't be that way. Xbox should actually, make a priority to make better exclusive IPs, to make just better games overall exclusive to their consoles so they can actually compete with Sony and PlayStation. Because right now, in my opinion, I think PlayStation 5 is beating the Xbox. And I also think, if you have the money, A PC doesn't require any membership, any subscription. You can just play games online for free. So if you can afford a PC and you can afford to fork over $1,000, I know it's definitely not like feasible at this point in time for a lot of you guys, but you know, forking over $1,000 for a PC in the long run is actually cheaper than buying either console and paying for that online subscription service. That's just my humble opinion about it. So I hope you all did enjoy this video. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new, and comment down below your thoughts. I'm Cryptix, not getting Xbox Gold membership and not getting an Xbox anytime soon, and signing off.